Alrighty, so we need to talk about part two, and you might be wondering why do I have the teaser for part one pulled up? Now, mainly it's just because I'm coping, but we are going to talk about who potentially the part two Carnival LR, more than likely Carnival LR. I doubt it would be a Dokkan Festival exclusive because then they'd probably just do a dual Dokkan Fest for Tanabata if that was going to be the case. But we are going to talk about who it could potentially be. So we are just going off of what we got, right? Not a ton to work with here. And specifically, this was something that I was talking about for part one. When this teaser dropped, we were thinking this was, the Tournament of Power 17 and maybe Golden Frieza because of the gold medal and things like that. And then there was other reasoning, like this is the medal that they give out in Japan in kindergarten. I know that sounds like a crazy reach, but somebody had tweeted that. So it's like, okay, this might have something to do with superhero because of Pan, right? But those are just sort of things that we have to go off of, right? This teaser probably has nothing to do with part two, but it's just something to talk about, right? It's another reasoning, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Here we have on the screen, this is why I have this pulled up, and it is this right here, this alignment of the stars, something that I did not catch in my initial video. Maybe I did talk about it. I forget. These things, they come and go so fast in Dokkan, right? But this right here, you guys can kind of see the outline of the stars. This is most certainly a ribbon, right? It kind of tails off a little bit right here, but if you kind of draw it together right here, this is definitely like the red ribbon logo. Now, why is red ribbon significant to this teaser in specific? It is because of where they fight in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, right? It is the Red Ribbon Army base, and that would sort of tailor towards being a superhero or Beast Gohan, maybe an Piccolo, something like that. That is definitely possible for sure. But that does not guarantee anything by any means. There is definitely something here to note, though. It really could just be the simple answer of like people were saying that this was AI. And if this was AI art, maybe what the social media intern did was type in the prompt of like Dragon Ball gold medal space, something like that. And so in turn, there were some Dragon Ball hints in here somewhere, and this is sort of what you got, right? But that's also a big accusation to say that this is entirely AI art. They were saying that this medal here was AI, and again, I'm not like a master of AI art by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm not going to sit here and put bold claims out. But if that were to be the case, then this could potentially be why we have this ribbon here in specific. So a lot of talking about the teaser. Let's go ahead and move on to what I think are more than likely going to be the theme of part two, and we are going to be staying within the realm of movies. That is at least my thought here, just because movies part one, more than likely with Tanabata, you stay in the same sort of realm, right? Where we have, if we just look at Tanabata over the years, we'll go all the way back to 2020. 2020 was Evo Ken versus Jiren. 2021, why am I blanking? Tech Gogeta versus Janemba. 2022, Father Son Gallic Gun versus Fusamasu. 2023, Super Saiyan 4 Full Power Goku versus Omega Shenron, right? 2024, UI Goku versus Jiren. So 2025, if we are going to stay in the same sort of idea of it being like whoever they fight, then that means movie bosses is more than likely what we are going to be seeing, because of the fact that this is mainly centered around a Gogeta character who comes in and tags in for Frieza. So who is Gogeta tagging in for Frieza to fight? You already guessed it, our boy Broly. And what I'm thinking, because of the way that Broly was handled in 2024, with just the amount of Broly characters that we got, Easy A's included, right? 1 Easy A, 2 Easy A's, right? 3 Easy A's. I think I said this one. And then 1 summonable LR, 2 summonable LRs, 3 summonable LRs, a free-to-play LR, right? They did a lot of Broly. Where's the Super Easy A, right? A Super Easy A. Where is Asshat? Where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? Right there, right? So all of these Brolys have been covered. Base Broly, Super Saiyan Broly, base Super Broly, right? Base Legendary Super Saiyan, or just Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, Super Saiyan Broly, right? What's left? What do we have? What is one character that we have not gotten for Broly in years? Nearly a decade, right? If we go to the JP release for this, just to ensure the earliest possible release date for the sake of what I'm trying to talk about here, this character, if the website wants to load, released in December of 2018. It has nearly been 7 years since we have received a Wrathful Broly. So I think it potentially could be time for us to get a Wrathful Broly. I think this would be a really good time to do so. Now this is all jacked up. I want the English version. Where are you at? Come on. But we want, I think a Wrathful Broly here would make a ton of sense. It's who Gogeta's fighting. We haven't received a version of this in a while. There's a very good animation that could be his intro where he falls into the water and then transforms. This would be a really fun character. And then when we look at links like this for Golden Frieza and Gogeta in specific, they don't share a ton here just because he's not a Broly character, or because Frieza's obviously not a Broly character, excuse me. But if we pull this guy up, we'll have to do the side by side, right? They've got, let's see, where we got right here. All right. So Fierce Battle, right? We've got Fierce Battle. We've got Prodigies. Fierce Battle, Prodigies. They have, if we go to the Gogeta portion, I guess that would probably be the better way to look at this, right? Do this. What does Gogeta got, right? Fused Fighter. So Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle. Yeah, not as many links as I thought, but they would share Prodigies with Frieza. So maybe that wouldn't be the best partner in the world. It would just depend on how they would do this, because they would also have legendary power. You'd have to keep that in mind, like legendary power, Prodigy, Fierce Battle, right? It would maybe if they would give him something else that, like, at least in terms of Golden Frieza, like, what could the Broly potentially have that this Frieza would also have, right? Or would be like, he's not going to get strongest, like maybe Broly could get shocking speed, and then that would be Prodigy's shocking speed, Fierce Battle, legendary power. 4 to 7 links is pretty good, right? Because he's not going to get Universe's most malevolent, he's not going to get strongest clan in space, and then Thirst for Conquest, he also probably would not. He probably also would not get, because that's not really Paragus's thing, right? Paragus is not trying to conquer the universe. Paragus is right here, but what about Super Paragus? Super Paragus. I don't see Super Paragus. So there's a big difference, right? The motives of Super Paragus and Z Paragus are a little bit different, right? Because Z Paragus, Broly, and Paragus are going around like destroying stuff, and like all across the galaxy and things like that. And Broly becomes like a figure of legend in that movie where it's like a whole galaxy got wiped out and stuff like that, and people were bugging. And then in Super, it's sort of just like they end up going to Planet Vampa and just kind of like staying there for a long time, and that ends up being like the big problem. So Thirst for Conquest, Paragus doesn't really fit that bill, but Super Broly, I think if they were to go for that for part 2, I think that would be probably the most logical thing in that case. And then for the Easy A's, we'd probably be seeing something along like the lines of Birdcoo and Cooler. But again, it is not a guarantee. So let's talk about the other theory that I have for part 2. And again, that is completely stemming off of the red ribbon logo that is in the background of the teaser. Again, it's not much, but it's what we have to work with. So if we look at this right here, the red ribbon logo right there, you could also kind of see like the hint of a ribbon up here. It's not much, but what that leads to me more than likely is going to be a Beast Gohan or an Orange Piccolo, maybe both of them at the same time, maybe a tag character with Beast Gohan and Power Awakened Piccolo or Orange Piccolo. I could definitely see this. This would definitely bring the hype for sure. Superhero would definitely be, I think, the more hype choice between the two. I know people like Broly, but Beast Gohan is definitely another animal. I guess when it comes to like overall characters, let me know in the comment section. This is actually kind of a question that I'm curious about. Beast Gohan or legendary Super Saiyan Broly? Any form of it, right? Whether you think it'd be the full power one from Dragon Ball Super Broly or the one from Z. Which one do you guys think is more like hype overall? Beast Gohan or legendary Super Saiyan Broly? I guess I'm curious to know what you guys think of that. So this Beast Gohan could definitely be a part 2 LR, staying within the theme of movies. It's about probably, I don't want to say it's about time we've got another Beast Gohan, because it really, on global especially, it really only has been a year and 2 months now, not even. So like it wouldn't be the end of the world if we didn't get a Beast Gohan here, but it would kind of make sense just based off that. Same thing with Power Awakening Piccolo or Orange Piccolo. It's been nearly 3 years since our last version of Orange Piccolo in the game. So I think that this one would make a lot of sense as well for like what we're looking for part 2. But again, it is just sort of an interesting thing. Now, again, Easy A's, we've talked about this a little bit. This guy could potentially get an Easy A, and I think that would be extremely hype, right? Because this guy, it probably won't take much for him to be just like all the way back, right? And it's going to take a while before this guy gets his Easy A. But with this guy, right, like if they go a little bit early here and they Easy A him or they Easy A Birdcoo, we have a ton to work with. I think that this Birdcoo Easy A really could hold it down and get a lot of players excited. So we'll just have to wait and see. And that is what I'm thinking for part 2 right now. So let's go ahead and shout out some members and we can get up on out of here. All right, as always here, thank you for the additional support from my members. If you would like to become a member down below and further support the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And it is always another way to further show your support. It is obviously not mandatory. You watching these videos, interacting with them, liking, subscribing, all goes a massive way and makes a huge difference, and I always appreciate it. But just an extra thank you to those of you who are supporting via the membership. Big shouts outs to Malcolm, Griftix, God Boruto Savages, Junior, Sean C, Blue Sun, Preston Kitty, Tekka, Chunkster, Soldier 91, Yay, Wesley, Cosmo, Darth Anguish, Junior, Sean C. Why is this doing this? I already read that. Some of you guys get double. Van, Brian V, and Radokun. So thank you to all of my channel members. Again, your support means the world. I appreciate you guys watching this one. Let me know what you think part 2 is going to be down below in the comment section, and I'll see you all in the next one.